And hello, good people of the internet. It is I, Tommy Kelly. This is Adventures from Woo. This is another TaSTA ritual. And for people who don't know what TaSTA rituals are, first I should explain what TaSTA is. TaSTA is a more or less weekly podcast that myself, my partner in crime, Spud, do. TaSTA just stands for Tommy and Spud Talk About. And every week we talk about something, usually some sort of documentary that we've watched, which is around spiritual or magical or meditation or awakening, something around that. Or high strangeness, UFOs, gnomes, goblins, anything at all, something along those ways. We also spend some time before that just discussing our general kind of practice, what's happening in our lives, and our kind of, as we move through the spiritual, magical, Western magical tradition, doing the things that are prescribed in the occult literature and seeing how they affect our lives. But then out of that, we kind of go, well, we could do some of these rituals too. We could kind of actually do them live or semi-live or record them and let other people see them. So we did a number of them, but the most interesting thing that's happened recently is that we got in contact with an entity who claims that he is a representative or one of the secret chiefs. The secret chiefs are otherwise known as the Great White Brotherhood, the Center at Shambhala, Ascended Masters, the Third Order of the AA, any number of things. It's essentially humans who have evolved to a high enough level that they could leave and go on to the next evolutionary stage, but have decided instead that they would stay here and help humanity evolve spiritually and help with world matters and, you know, the general spiritual evolution of the planet and of humanity in particular. This first came out of the very first session where this entity arrived was with Jason Mendel, and we did an Estes method, a Gloria Estefan method, where he put a spirit box in his headphones and was wearing a blindfold, and we got in contact and he was listening to like random signals, radio signals, you know, as they're very fast scanning through, and any word that he picked up he would say. So it was kind of a way of doing a divination, and this is where we first came across the entity known as Black. Subsequently, Duncan Barford from Occult Experiments in the Home, and back in the day Baptist Head, did a trance session with us where again we got in contact with this being and he had some messages for us. So they're probably worth watching before you watch this one. There was a subsequent one that me and Spud did, but the quality's not great, so it's just stuck on the Patreon. But if you want that, send us a DM, PM, or whatever they're called these days, and we'll get you access to that. Just don't want to put it in the main feed, just because the quality's not great, and I don't want it to be as part of the, you know, if that was someone's first video, it would look like the quality isn't great for the overall stuff. You know what I'm saying. So this one, we did the Estes, I can never remember how to pronounce that word. Estes, the one from Helio, method again, where this time Spud put the headphones on, he was listening to the spirit box, and put the blindfold on, and I asked questions on his behalf to Black, and he had a number of questions that he wanted clarity on around certain things that were going on in his life. I also muted my mic completely on Zoom, which was unintentional but worked at best, so it meant that Spud had no idea what questions I was asking, and the set of questions that he gave me I asked out of order, so he really would have not been able to follow if he was trying to cheat what question I was asking. So the only downside is when I'm asking the questions on the video, you can't see me until the very end. Usually Zoom automatically will switch to the speaker, but because I had my mic muted, it didn't happen. One thing I would say about this is that it's very kind of centered around Spud, and there's probably not an awful lot of you as the watcher, the listener, are not going to get an awful lot of kind of insight into your own life, I suppose, around it. So what I would suggest to do is to kind of see of how this is working through Spud and through my thing, and, you know, through the rituals they were doing, and see how you can appropriate that or in some way approach your own stuff through that and see how it works. Because again, it's not kind of a universal kind of insight, but it hopefully in some way will inspire you or instill in you a way of doing it for yourself. An awful lot of this kind of stuff we're doing just to show that everyone can do it, that, you know, there's nothing special in us, or, you know, that it's part of the process. This is what you should be expecting if you're doing this type of work, and you know, to encourage you to do it, but do it in your own way. Find your own way of doing it. Don't do it exactly the way we've done it, but you find your own kind of way. And also a kind of thing that I want to just talk around about the notion of what is it that we're actually engaging with. And I'm more and more coming to kind of the belief that it's like a divination rather than a conversation, or that it's like, and that the patterns and the things that we read into it that are like ripples. They're like a stone dropped in, you know, a pond, and these things ripple out, and they're as important, if not more important, than the things or the symbols that are kind of being said during the actual session. That it's the patterns afterwards that are as much the divination or the conversation, and the things that we look into it and we find resonant, which is going to be a case that when you look at it, you go, well, I don't think that's what he's saying, or that's not resonating with me, or that doesn't seem right, and kind of say it probably isn't for you, but that you kind of have to trust the person who's within it, that if it's resonant for them or speaks to them in such a way, even if it's completely different from what you think has been said, that's the stone being dropped in the lake, and that's the ripple pattern that's going out, that's appropriate and right for, in this case, Spud. But I did try to make a kind of thing at the end of it. I wasn't completely successful, I don't think, in trying to share what I was feeling at the time, and the kind of images and stuff I was getting as the person who was asking the questions. And there certainly was a notion of, in one of them, of seeing like a scene around a river and a load of kind of kids, and it was like an adventure, and that there was something kind of was being said, that this is where a catchphrase was born, or this is when a nickname happened, or something like that. It came out of a question of Spud saying, tell Tommy something that he had never told me. It's kind of a test, I suppose. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it and find it interesting. And I have to say, it's very centered around questions Spud needed answering, rather than any kind of great, kind of bigger insights or universal insights. But I think it's part of, I think, why we have success in doing all of this stuff, is that we're open about it and show it. We're not trying to kind of hide it, and there is an element of public to it. And so that seems to lend us a bit more success in getting these contacts or something, in order that it shows that we're not special, that all of you can do it, anyone can do it, that it's not just for some sort of elite or highly trained meditators who've been sitting in a cave for 1,000,000 years. So yeah, I'll cut over to it now, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it.
See you later.
Okay, so I'm calling in the protector to protect this space. I'm calling it. Calling in
my flight.
The messenger for clear.
I think
information, and the gatekeeper to allow me access to the other side. So by calling you Black from the Secret Chiefs, who we've talked to before and who you've said we can call back, I draw your sigil in the air.
It's hot.
Okay, and I'm going to ask some questions from Spud. He has some things he would like some clarification on.
No, I should.
Okay, so I'm going to do these out of order from what Spud give me, so that there's no way of him...
I can't see.
Well, he can't see, he won't know. Tell Tommy, so this is the test one. Well, first of all, have I got Black here? Am I speaking to Black?
Have some degree.
To some degree. Should I wait longer? If I am talking to Black, can I get...
What? There's too much music coming in on this. I'll try the other app. No. Try the other one.
Okay. So again, I ask if I to call him Black. I'm going to draw a sigil in the air yet
6
again.
p.m.
And if there, can he give me a sign if I am talking to
Great
Black?
to hear from.
Is that my sign? I'm going to assume it is. So, black.
You came by yourselves.
Yes, for a change. Yeah, it's usually someone else. But the last time we were by ourselves too. Black.
Let me know.
Spud has some questions here that he would like some clarification on. Tell Tommy something about me, which is about Spud. Tell me.
Friday.
Tell me something about Spud that he has never told me.
We head back. When it was like, again. A river. A catchphrase was found. Climate. Don't be surprised. Tailor-made. Prevent. To let the people.
Okay. We go on to another question. Recently, Spud has heard a voice saying, "All that is left is the conflation of the Holy Son and the Amen Mother." Can you tell me something about this that could help explain that a bit more?
110, really good. The fact that the instructors were divided. It was one of those kids. Now you have had your from that time on, which is he was stuck Poland. I think poor. That was the new favorite.
Okay. Spud wants to know why he's been drawn to
19.
Thelema. Rather than
appearance.
Okay. Why Thelema rather than Raja Yoga, which is what he seems to be more gravitating towards. Or is that so? Yeah, why Thelema?
Yeah. In this pub. Sonic. In the latest. Details from the past. When we met. I love it. We need to thank you. Charlie was playing on the really weird.
Okay. If Spud has the powers of prophecy as he feels he's been told before in previous sessions, Why is he so bad at it?
But today, clattered.
Is there a particular area he needs to look at more? Or what's your advice around that whole thing?
Signal from a...
Okay.
Tell me before what? Day?
He was told before.
How many of us? At times. Sent by force. To talk. Eagles. Get out. From under. Bullies. Justin. 16.
Okay.
More of this.
What is the best approach we should take for scrying the Aeters?
A bit. Feeling the same as you.
Just do the standard way.
Now I can't say. And the news comes true. Being a problem. Roseanne.
Okay. This is last question. If Spud wanted to be a psychomagician or psych magician like Jodorowsky,
it could happen to you. 6 months.
can he enlist your
All
help?
the time. Stop now.
Okay.
No, why don't you? Epic. Is that 10? Conquistador. What he didn't want to say. Oi. Radio 1.
Is there any message you would like to leave us with? I'll just let you talk.
Alright then. Mate, get to it. Do I feel like now is not the take 2 times on Sunday? What I don't know. All involved. And the wine came through it. Radman on a John Widdicombe? Things just go that way. Day by day. Then me. At a new hill. After. It happened. Did he want more than that? Of all things. Yeah. Fuck you then. Tommy. Ask him. It's on your mind. Pause. Talking about it before, a big performance. Stretch.
This seems to be referencing the last one of the times we talked before when you were talking about a dress rehearsal, and I says that's a bit of a stretch. Is that what you're talking about?
How was it many thousands who came back to Dublin for the weekend? Begging, talking about, asking how. Unlucky. To pander. The signals were okay. Set to go. By car, hello. Like to say.
Yeah. We're getting close to the end here, Black. Of our...
Sky isn't falling. Clearly. That is. Ostensibly. Sometimes. Scream. Neither. What could? The driver. Out his car and was sure-footed. Ah, it's going. Now to stop that. That felt like absolute gibberish.
No, but I wanted to say what my impressions, what the answers were while we're hot before we delve into recordings and things like that. So tell Tommy something that about you that you've never told me before.
Right.
Was a scene about being down by a river where someone was given their nickname for the first time.
Wow.
Yeah. Or it was a catchphrase, was something. That's what the feeling I got was the story that was being told there. That was some sort of that, whatever that is.
I'll have to think about that. The first thing that jumps to my mind is I remember one of the first times I met one of my uncles. We brought him down to the local river, where, you know, where that saint is from around me. Right. He had his that holy place.
Maybe not necessarily a nickname, but the word was catchphrase. But it seemed like something was like something you say started that day.
Maybe.
Okay,
yeah. That's interesting.
No, they're already falling away from me what it was. The Holy Mother or the Holy Son and the Holy Mother just seemed to be something around that. It was because he starts talking about kids and connections and stuff like that. So that
okay. Yeah.
if you wanted to be a psych magician like Jodorowsky, start going like within 6 months you can do this, something sort of stuff. Not. The Thelema stuff. So that was like because the stuff from before, as if you've done this before. That's why you have to do the Thelema. That it's stuff from like the past. I don't know, past lives, or because it's going to come back to the beginning or something. So I felt what I was trying to communicate that was that this is some sort of karmic thing that you have to do. That it's not necessarily a karmic thing, but it's part of your lineage or something like that. You know what I mean by that?
I get you.
Yeah. So whether that be you were Crowley in your past life, or maybe you're Victor Neuburg, who knows? Yeah, and then I just kind of left it at the end, just going, right, just tell me, whatever it is. And there was a part, I mentioned it, you'll see it in the video, where he starts talking, and it sounded like stuff we talked about before, where he was going on about, the dress up, and I was going, is this a rehearsal? And he says, we're not pandering to you, which you all said before. And he said, and you said it was a stretch, which I did at the time, this is a stretch, or something like that. So I thought that was interesting.
That's mad.
A couple of things. But
there's so little of it I just remember it being like gibberish, but at times it felt like there were so many words coming out, it felt like sentences, but sentences that made no fucking sense at all. Like,
yeah, it definitely felt more words together than it was more closer to the Spirit Box stuff, like the Necrophonic app, than it was the, say, necessarily so somewhere between Jason and Duncan's type of where it's not fully complete, but it's not as punctuated as Jason's stuff was. But yeah, no, there definitely feels to be some stuff to be looking at. Not many numbers, Was there anything else? Yeah, he was telling me to ask the question I wanted to ask. I didn't know what it was though. So
yeah, there was a Tommy, wasn't there?
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, it'll be interesting to go through it all again and see what's there.
Sound.
So that was the session, and I hope you found it interesting. What we did notice, because we kind of ended up in a rush because we ran out of time, that we didn't properly thank Black at the end or give him the proper license to depart. So we did that subsequently after the video when we realised that. Also want to say that we did some prep work in that we did some banishings, I did a Star Ruby. You'll have to interrogate Spud and what he did, but I know he did something. He, to get into state or to get into the kind of the zone of the whole thing. But so it's interesting. We're going to continue doing more of these things. At the end of next month, we're going to be me, Spud, Marco, and Jason are going to be doing stuff with all our patrons and communities to have a go at trying to find, talk to the kind of the third order, that the supposed missing third order from the AA, as is suggested in Hellier. Marco's done some stuff last year where he tried to get talking to Terry Wrist, and it was successful in some ways, not successful in other ways. So we're going to try and change it this way to have it a more successful thing. So if that's something that you're interested in, that you might want to participate in, the links are in the show description. But other than that, let me know how you're getting on with your contacts, your spirit bothering, your general kind of spiritual practice, or your meditative practice, your awakening practice, your magical practice, whatever is the correct word for you. For me, it depends on the day. So good people of the internet, be well, and may our best days be ahead.